So much time, attention, love goes into creating our energy, our grids, our crystal grids, our like magical moments that we create for ourselves, right? We'll do this whole tarot spread, light the candles, we'll get out our planners and our journals. But are we treating ourselves with the same reverence? And that's what we're talking about in today's episode of Expedition to Soul. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted. Welcome in for another episode of Expedition to Soul. And as we've been doing each week here on the podcast, we've had just sort of a conversation. And then also we're pulling from the archives to bring you some good stuff because, we've been doing this for 7 years. There are 7 years of video and audio just ready for you to hear. And we want to make sure that it is at your fingertips. So today's lesson is talking about, or today's podcast is actually a lesson from an older version of our Holistic Witchery program. So this is now kind of embedded in a different way in the curriculum. But the lesson or the video you're going to listen to or the audio is about treating yourself as an energy grid. So this is something we talked about too in our recent workshop series. And I think our backstage workshop series, we talk about it with the expansion archetypes we teach in Magic Week. And of course, it's embedded in Holistic Witchery, but in a different way now. So we pulled this out of the vault for you so you can listen to it. It is about treating yourself as an energy grid. And it's good. It really brings the magic in, like how to literally look at yourself as an energy grid. And if you watch the backstage workshop series or listened in on that, it's a great addition to what you heard there as well. Okay, so get ready because you're about to treat yourself with the same reverence you treat every other magical tool when you hear about yourself as an energy grid. Hey there, Sarah here, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and welcome back to another Holistic Witchery lesson as part of our Bewitch Your Everyday unit. And we are talking about you as an energy grid. So if you listened to our last video in this section on creating a magical household, magical kitchen, then you heard me give this example of looking at your house as if you were a giant and your house is your altar space, your sacred space. Now, if your house is your altar space, and again, you're looking in as if you're a giant, seeing everything teeny tiny here, then you, my friend, are the crystal grid that is set up on that sacred space. Now, when we think of ourselves, I think we think of ourselves at this point, if you're in this class, as a magical being and you have energy, you bring energy to situations, you know that you are in control of setting your intentions and your thoughts and all of these things. But do you ever think of yourself as an energetic grid? So when we look at a crystal grid, there's typically a crystal in the middle, and then there are smaller crystals, or there's elements, they could be like acorns or whatever, set up around that middle crystal with intention to amplify something into being. So if you are the amplifier in the middle of that crystal grid, what is it that you have placed around yourself in your energetic field? Are these stories you've told yourself? Are they expectations? Are they the hats that you wear in your life? Are they the intentions for the future, the visualizations for the future? What are the things that you have placed around yourself that you are amplifying? Now, every day, you've heard me talk about this with energy, and in the shadow work lessons, you can go back there and get some more information on this. But every day we are absorbing energies around us, things that are happening, interactions, and those are all sticking in your energetic field. So those are basically like the little crystals that are centered around you as the amplifier. Now, what we can do is look at ourselves intentionally as this amplifier and look at our energy as this big grid. So underneath this video, or around it somewhere, there is this worksheet. And the idea here is that you are the person in the middle of this 5-pointed star. And the star is this grid, this energy grid around you. Now, traditionally, if you pick up a book on witchcraft or like modern witchery and anything that tells you what the elemental associations to the 5-pointed star are, you are going to see that, and this is if you're looking at it, so this might be backwards on the camera. If you're looking at this image, the right arm is associated typically with the element of water, the right leg with the element of fire, the left leg with the element of earth, and the left arm with the element of air. And then the top is associated with spirit, the ethereal, all that is divine, whatever you want to call it. Now, that does not align with the typical order of the elements as we work with them. And that has always bothered me. But those are the traditional associations. Now, I look at myself as this energy grid with different elemental associations. So let me walk you through how I look at this and what I suggest that you come up with. So for you, you can use the traditional associations as I just outlined them, or you can figure out what works for you. Now, if you stand with your arms wide, legs spread apart, you make that 5-pointed star, right? For me, I look at my right hand. I'm right-handed. I look at my right hand as being aligned with the element of earth. I sign contracts with my right hand. If I were to dig a hole in the ground and plant something, it would be with my right hand. I clean with my right hand. Everything that I do that is bringing abundance into my life, physically, I do with my right hand. That is my earth element for me. From there, I actually move the other way around the star, and my head I associate with the element of air and thought and logic. Now, if you work with chakra energy centers, this is going to be different than what you experience there as well, because that at your crown chakra is your connection to the divine. And this does not negate that. I am looking at this simply as how I'm imagining myself as an energy grid and what thoughts am I keeping in mind that are helping me to amplify myself as that amplifying piece. So like whatever it is I want to bring into being. All right. So my right hand is earth. My head, I look at as air. My left hand, I look at as that element of fire. So what do I need help with on the earthly plane? What needs to be fueled? What needs power behind it? What needs passion behind it? And how can I use that left hand to pass energy over to that and empower myself to do that thing? From there, my left foot, I look at as water, emotions. And for me, I am a person when I'm very emotional, I want to stop the floor. I want to pound that out and help move that emotion out of me down into the earth beneath me. And that leaves my right foot as that connection to spirit or source. And I love that as an idea for me because it's that balance between releasing to something greater than me and being in emotion, in human emotion. So balancing between the 2 feet. Now that's how I see it. You might not see it that way. You might love the traditional way. You might just love to work with the chakra energy centers. And I don't work with them exclusive of each other. This idea of working with me as the star and my energetic grid around me, it's really a visualization process. So what needs to be, what needs to be added fire to? What emotion needs to be released so I can lean on all that is, or lean on my future self and my higher self? So what needs to be transferred from one foot to the other foot for me? Where is my logic and my thinking? And I can look at this in myself and my energy and what I'm carrying around with me as an alternative way of looking at myself as an energy grid. Your chakra system can be looked at in this way as well. Now, how I might use an image like this, and I don't typically just have like a stack of these printed out for me. It's just drawing the star, knowing that I'm in the middle of it. I might write like my intentions for each of these energy bodies for me, like what needs to be moved through, what needs to be moved around. Put a candle in the middle of that. You can also work with a candle or a crystal, hold it to the center of you and see what's happening around you and envision like your energy as the grid that you would like it to be, containing whatever it is that you want it to contain. So crystals, candles, tea, but whatever it is that you choose to do here, whether you use a photo of yourself, you just are you knowing what's happening around you. Remember that you are an energy grid. You are a crystal grid in human form. A crystal grid is not something that you can't do with yourself
and whatever it is that is in your intention setting mind right now, whatever it is that you want to bring into being, all of these things are right there with you. So when we start to look at everyday magic and we look at our spaces and our homes and us, I think that there is this idea that we have to do all of these things, right? But I think that before we can even create a crystal grid with intention that's worth its salt and works, we need to work on ourselves as an energy grid. We need to work on our homes as a sacred space. Once these things are sorted out, everything else helps us to grow and to bring more into being, and helps us manifest and do spells and feel magical and witchy, which is what empowers us to be our best selves and to feel great and feel joyful in the world around us, and spread that to people near and far. Listen to our inner knowing and remember that we are magical. So in this unit here, I want you to really think about, with you as an energy grid, how can you make magic with just you? Just you. Maybe a pen and paper to write down what's going on in your grid field here, if you were to pretend like all these things in your life are crystals or stones or whatever. But think about you as a magical tool, because you are your most magical tool always. All right, so you as an energy grid, think on that and maybe contemplate what helps you see yourself as a grid? What helps you visualize that? And where does that fit in your body? Is it the chakra system? Is it looking at yourself as that star and like how that energy moves through you? Is it something on a piece of paper like the printable attached? But you are an energy grid, and I want you to consider that thought. Like, how are you creating yourself as an energy grid right now?
Thank you for catching today's episode of Expedition to Soul. I hope that you took away a little bit of information to think differently about yourself moving forward, how you can treat yourself with the same reverence you would your magical tools, how you've got the elements and the cardinal directions, and like you're literally casting energy constantly. And now you can think about that in a more conscious way as you move through the day. If you love thinking about yourself in this way, be sure to check out our Magic Week program. It's an on-demand class right now. You'll learn your expansion archetype, which will teach you both how you expand and how you sabotage, which is really looking at your energy and how you are using yourself as a grid to expand into the world around you. So if you found this information helpful, check around the links for that Magic Week link. And of course, if you're ready to go all in, join us in Holistic Witchery. It's our comprehensive program. We're going to teach you our 5-eye spiral and how to really expand and amplify anything in your life. And you can learn more about that at holisticwitchery.com. But until next time, thanks for listening in. Follow along with everything we're doing on social media, our Sunday Magic Mail, online at thesistersenchanted.com. And I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.